Welcome to Chapter 1 Live. My name is Jenni Moen, and I'm the author of the Joy series. For my edition of Chapter 1 Live, I'm going to read part of the first chapter of Remembering Joy. Here's the cover. It is book 1 in a 2-book series. I would show you the cover for Finding Joy, but unbelievably, I don't even have a copy. So, quick disclaimer. My two main characters occasionally have a bit of a trashy mouth or trashy mouths. So if you find that offensive, you might just skip on to the next video. Here we go. Chapter 1, Adam. I checked my phone for what felt like the 100th time to see if I had missed a text from Burke. There were no new notifications. I audibly cursed his name and took another look around the bar that was steadily filling with the regular Friday happy hour crowd. After taking a long pull on the beer in front of me, I looked across the bar, and that's when I saw her. It had been almost 10 years. My heart fell a little at the thought that 10 years had actually passed. I'd always known that she was here, but I'd never sought her out. It was practically mandatory that I keep my distance. She'd lost the bubbly cheerleader look that had worked for her all through high school. She was stunning now. Her blonde hair was shorter and sleeker and just barely brushed her shoulders. She was thinner than I remembered, but not gaunt. Her high cheekbones accented the deep blue eyes that had lost their childish sparkle. Despite these less than subtle changes, I recognized her immediately. Hers was a face I would know anywhere, and a face I would never forget. I must have been holding my breath while I checked her out. I swallowed the drink that now tasted warm and bitter. As I released my breath, my heart raced, and I forced myself to take a series of measured breaths. I looked down at my phone again for a much-needed distraction and steadied my heart rate. I told myself that I didn't have any reason to worry. She wouldn't recognize me. It would be an interesting theory to test. I motioned the bartender over. The beer in front of me had suddenly lost its appeal. Tonight called for something a little stronger. Without being obvious, I watched her for at least 30 more minutes, while I finished my first and then my second whiskey straight. She was with two friends, a girl and a guy. They were smiling and laughing at something she had said. I couldn't quite make it out, even though I was doing a pretty good job tuning out all the douchebags around me. She seemed to be retelling a story from work. From her friends' reactions, I surmised that her day had been more interesting than mine. The two friends were obviously together. They hung all over each other. At the realization that she was the third wheel, I couldn't stop a sly smile from spreading across my face. She had an energy about her, and her periodic scan of the room told me that she was looking for something or someone. As if maybe she wasn't planning on going home alone tonight. Finally, my phone buzzed in my hand as the text I had been anticipating came through. Burke. Hung up at work. Catch you tomorrow. I shook my head. Normally, I would have been irritated at him for leaving me stranded in a place like this, but this evening was shaping up to be something entirely different from what I had expected. I was glad he wasn't coming. I wasn't going to be alone for long. She was about to get my worst, and she deserved every bit of it. Alexis. I hated this bar. It didn't matter that we seemed to come here all the time or that it was a short walk from our office. The conversations around me were tedious. Professional blowhards talked over one another, trying to best everyone around them. I was good at my job, and it was really all that I had going for me. But after spending the last 12 hours trying to prove that I was something more than just my last name, I was tired of the charade. I had very little free time, and I really didn't care to waste it on pompous assholes. Unfortunately, that's exactly where I was in my life, and I rarely left the financial district. My work husband had coerced me into coming tonight. It was a label that I bestowed on Ethan when we were still in law school, before there was real work to be done. The term was correct in that we seemed to spend all of our time together. It was also correct in that I would do anything for him. However, it was a bit of a misnomer, since aside from one tequila-laced night back in school, our relationship was completely and totally platonic. That one anomaly had been a mistake that I would not repeat. Tonight I was playing wingman, or wingwoman as it would seem. The plan had been to meet up with a new girl that he had met earlier at the Starbucks in our building. Ethan's taste in women never varied. He liked them tall and leggy and well endowed. I had just polished off my second Belvedere and soda and was considering making a stealth exit when I noticed a guy across the bar. He didn't fit in with the rest of the clientele. His simple black t-shirt contrasted sharply with all the button-down Oxfords in the room. His longer brown hair rested just past his ears. It was tasseled, as if he had just come in out of the wind, or possibly a photo shoot, or maybe someone's bed. A day's worth of beard growth didn't hide the strong, masculine jawline beneath. A strong hand curled around his glass and brought it to his lips just as his eyes met mine. I nudged Ethan in his side and raised my eyebrows suggestively. Other side of the bar, 1 o'clock, I said. Ethan glanced in the guy's direction and then rolled his eyes at me. Geez, Alexis, really? That guy? Yes, that guy, I almost whispered. Look around you, A-lister. There are 100 guys in here to choose from, and you pick him? You can't possibly have anything in common with him, he said. I looked him dead in the eye and said, That's the point, dear husband of mine. That is exactly the point. You are on a path of self-destruction, he said, shaking his head. Returning my gaze to my mark, I said, Don't be silly, Ethan. This is going to be fun. And a little fun was all I was looking for. After all, I had no desire to meet someone who I actually had something in common with. I didn't want somebody who would really want to get to know me. I was damaged goods, and I had learned the hard way that once they learned the truth, I wasn't worth sticking around for. So there you have it. Poor Alexis. If you want to read more, it's Remembering Joy, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and Kobo. Thank you.